What's going on, everyone? It's the Niskel. Welcome back to The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. For the only bonus episode I have planned for A Link to the Past, I'm going to go over the loose ends I didn't go over. And these have to do with the Game Boy Advance port, or remake, however you want to see it. The Link to the Past remake for the Game Boy Advance had two additional, I guess you'd call them modes, but they're more kind of secrets that were added to it when Capcom took over and redid it. And I'm just going to say right now, this is not my footage you are looking at. I'm actually using footage from a Let's Player, I guess you'd call him, from Kevin Zelda Fan. He's actually a very good player, plays a lot of Zelda games, so go check his stuff out. The one drawback, he doesn't do commentary, but you know what? A lot of people are into just watching the game go, and if you're into that, go for it. So, while you're watching and listening to me, I'll go over the new changes to the Game Boy Advance version. And the only reason I'm not doing it myself is because I'd rather do it on a legitimate cartridge and play the multiplayer version of Four Swords, which I can't do because I've got no one to play with me, but that's beside the point. Now, the very first thing, what you're seeing right here, inside your inventory, that question mark at the bottom right-hand corner, I said I'd talk about it, and now let's talk about it. This is actually a new item that you can get from the third brother of the Lumberjacks, Q Bumpkin. If you go see him after getting 10 medals from Four Swords, and the way you get the 10 medals is by getting the most rupees in a level. So if you kind of want to quote-unquote grind those medals, just play with two people, go through a level, levels are really short and really quick, get the most rupees, and you'll get a medal. You also have to have the bug catching net for this section. So as soon as you have your 10 medals and you have your bug catching net, go into Q Bumpkin's house and he'll talk to you about a quest he has for you, a kind of a riddle quest as he puts it. And what he'll give you is the basket, which replaces the question mark. Now what the basket is for this riddle quest, he gives you 10 items to bring back to him. So he'll ask you for 10 different items and he gives you little hints as to what they are and you have to go find them. And the way to catch them, put things in the basket, is to use the bug catching net. So here are all the hints that he gives. I'll just lay them on screen here. And getting these items and bringing it back to Q Bumpkin gives you a couple little special prizes, little nice touches for going out of your way to solve these riddles. After you finish the first, fourth, and seventh riddle, you will actually get wooden statues for different characters inside your house. So after the first one, you get a cuckoo. The fourth one, you get another statue. I'll just kind of keep these somewhat secretive. And that's pretty much it. After you finish all 10 riddles, you get a special new attack, the Hurricane Slash attack, the Hurricane Spin attack, or I guess you'd call it. They brought this move back in Four Swords Adventures. They used it in Wind Waker. Yeah, it's the spinny move where you just completely lose control and you spin all over the place and destroy everything. It actually takes away all your magic in your Magic Meter, so just keep that in mind. But I'll be honest, it's a pretty cool move to have. Some of these riddles can get a bit confusing. He doesn't give you very many hints. They're good enough, I guess, but if you don't know the names of the enemies, they're kind of hard to find. So I'll just say, let me look over my notes here. The third riddle. This is kind of the way that a lot of people would get confused because you wouldn't even think of this, but with that basket and bug catching net, you can actually catch things other than bees, fairies, other things like that. And that's what kind of throws people off, throws me off more than anything, that you can catch anything in this net now. So the first one, cock-a-doodle-doo, take a wild guess, you have to go get a cuckoo. So use your net, collect it, bring it back. But going down the list here of the different riddles, the third one, I will just give you a little hint on. It's shiny and red. He's not talking about an apple, he's actually talking about currency. So that's the hint I will give you there. Number 7's kind of funny because of the way it's worded, and believe it or not, it is asking for what you're thinking. Not that, the other thing, the animal. And you can actually find this animal in the sanctuary of the Master Sword, so in the forest. The last one, however, the 10th riddle, this one would take a while. The Spectacled Wanderer. You need to find a Kookman. and bring it back to Q Bumpkin. That's all I'll say. So if you don't know what a Kookman is, I'm sure you'll be able to look it up really quickly and figure it out. After all is said and done, and you have your 3 special statues and your new spin attack, you're done. That is the Riddle quest. And a little Easter egg, if you use the magic powder on your statues, they might change a little bit. Another thing you can do is pick up the statues, but you can't take them outside the house, so they're kind of like a badge saying that you completed the Riddle quest. Little extra thing to do, not required, but still kind of cool to do. On the other side, there was something I showed that I couldn't do. And this is another reason why I am using somebody else's footage, which I will show his channel in the description, because he does a much better job than I could of playing the Palace of the Four Swords. With this, you actually have to beat the multiplayer game Four Swords on the GBA cartridge. And again, I can't show it because I wanted to do it legitimately, and I don't have the technology to do that because I was running this on an emulator, so I kind of feel like I cheated some of you because I normally do legit playthroughs. I hate to use emulators. But beside the point, the Palace of the Four Swords you could consider Link to the Past hard mode. It's a test of all your metal, a test of everything you've learned, and the way to unlock it is to, as I said, beat the Four Swords multiplayer and be able to go into the Dark World. It's right there on the pyramid. If you go all the way to the right, you can't miss it. It's that extra opening that wasn't in the original game. I would say go in there at the end of the game. So after you've beaten Ganon, after you've gotten all the upgrades and everything, you're going to want every single piece of armor, all the health, everything to help you through this, because it is pretty difficult. Once you enter the Palace of the Four Swords, your main mission is to find the Four Swords, the green, the red, the blue, and the purple sword. To do that, you have to go through a bunch of different rooms inside the dungeon, and then you have to fight 4 bosses that you've already fought, but with brand new stipulations. So, recap, hardest stages in the game, and you have to fight rehashes of old bosses, but with new stipulations. And some of these challenges can get pretty cool. You thought Mothula was hard the first time? Try fighting 3 at the same time. Now, once you collect the 4 swords, you take them to one final room, and then you fight the 4 swords. Yeah, for playing through the entire game of 4 swords, you go back into the Link to the Past, and the game gets revenge on you. The 4 swords are doppelgangers of yourself, which is kind of a cool idea. I wish I could see it, but again, I'll have to play it on my own, find somebody to play with me. The main strategy behind the doppelgangers is, starting out with the green sword, all it knows is the dash move. So, pretty easy to get past. The red sword is next, it knows the dash and the hurricane spin. So, change up your tactic from green, and every new sword will learn a new move. You go to blue, it has everything plus kind of a downward stab to the ground, which actually looks pretty cool for the SNES sprites, I guess. And the purple one has everything plus your sword beam. So he's definitely the strongest of everything. And what do you get for beating the Palace of the Four Sword? That is what was interesting to me. What do you actually get? And this is why I would say save it until the very end after you've beaten everything. Because all you get is the true ending to A Link to the Past. I guess. All it shows you is it goes straight to the credits. As soon as you beat the 4 swords, it goes to the credits. It shows off the bosses, it shows off their fights, their fight patterns, and that's it. The credits show up, you get a new theme song, I guess, a new ending theme. That's pretty cool, and you're actually hearing it right now, so not a bad theme. And it actually tells you, at the end of the palace, how many times you used every single weapon, which I thought was hilarious when I found out. Because at the ending of the original game, it told you how many times you died, and that was about it. But this one tells you how much you used everything. That includes sword slashes, that includes hookshot usages, everything. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then it gives you the regular the end screen, nothing more. I believe it does add a new icon to your file when you start up the game, but that's about it. Again, it's another badge saying, hey, good job, you beat the Palace of the Four Swords. You beat hard mode, basically. And that'll do it for A Link to the Past. If I can actually get my own footage running, it would kind of be like showing you the same thing you're watching here, but I can at least say I did it myself. And if there's anything else I can think of, I will definitely show it as another bonus episode for A Link to the Past. But until then, see you guys next time.